Never mind. I'm cutting that out of the video. I can tell you that right now. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Tonight we're going to do a things to practice on for fingerstyle. So the C chord that I was making at the beginning of this is just more of a, I don't know what you call it, maybe some discipline in being able to move your fingers and get the bass notes at the same time. And this is a good one for it, because when I first started doing fingerstyle, the hardest chord for me to do melody with bass was the key of C. That shape. I always had a difficult time with that for some reason with fingerstyle. And so we're going to do that. This is going to be a fairly short video tonight, because you're going to just work on this. Now, that opener was just a little rag that I just kind of came up with for noodling around, having a little fun. These little rags that we do, they're good for you. They're very good for you to play. And the beautiful thing about playing guitar is that almost everybody I run into that plays guitar, they're not so much about well, I say they're not so much about the kind. I'm thinking the kind of music that they play. They obviously have something in mind with playing music. Whatever it is, as it relates to fingerstyle, these rags are going to help you achieve that. Let me say that. Whether it's Delta blues or whether it's just fingerstyle in a tune. Doing these rags help you get these fingers trained to do things on your fretting hand that doesn't come naturally. Okay, I'll just say that. I pulled out this Martin 0015 SM because I had a comment on two other videos, I think, where somebody had said, "Randy, would you mind pulling that Martin 00 out again? I really like that guitar." So yes, I've got it out, and I'm going to use it tonight. I still haven't decided if I'm keeping this Martin long term or not. I really like this guitar, but my wife absolutely loves it. But I don't play it very often, not as often as you might think. I'm not a huge all mahogany fan. Some folks like them a lot. I guess the thing that's most appealing about this guitar is how well it's built. For one, it's made in the USA by Martin, and it frets really good, and it has a good tone to it. It's basic appointments, very simple guitar. So from that standpoint, I really like it. But I just don't find myself playing it a lot. The volume is not quite there like it is on some other guitars. So I find myself not picking it up as often. Do I like the guitar? Yes, I do. And I may hang on to it for now. I don't know, okay? But I did want to pull it out for this video because somebody asked me to. It's all mahogany. It's an X-brace guitar. It's got these open gear tuners on them, 3 on a tree on each side. The S stands for standard. It doesn't stand for slotted. This was one of the headstocks that was a standard headstock at the time, way back yonder, for Martin. And so it inherited the title 0015 SM. And if you go look at the 0015s, you'll notice this one has more of a sloped shoulder to it. It's the same amount of wood as on a Martin 0015M. It's just that they somehow or another shrunk this and caused it to be a little longer in the body. You know what I mean? And that impacts the sound. So this one sounds a little different than a 15M. But it's a very nice guitar, and I really like it. I think it's 12-inch. Yeah, it's 12-inch radius fretboard on this. Rosewood fretboard. rosewood bridge. I've got ebony bridge pins on this one to go with it. But it's really got that retro look, doesn't it? All right, let's get started on this C thing, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is make a C chord. Plant that little finger on the number 3 fret, number 1 string, and achieve that sound right there. Then what you're going to do is pick up on number 3, which is open in a C chord, okay? You're going to pick up on number 3, you're going to pinch number 5 and number 1. And you're going to do your bass notes. Your bass notes are going to be 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do this 3 times. And you're going to get all 3 bass notes when you do it. 5 and 1 with little fingers just going to stay planted, number 1 string, number 3 fret. Number 5 and number 1, you're going to pinch these. 5, 4, 6, 4. So it's just like that. Then you're going to strike that number 4 bass note. Then you're going to come back to 5 and you're going to pick up 5 and 1. Your little finger's still on the 3rd fret. Pick up number 1, slide your little finger down to the number 2 fret, number 1 string. So you're going to pinch 5 and 1, pick up on number 1, strike number 4 immediately. Then pick up on number 1 again and pick up number 6 and number 4. So it's just like that. And then you're going to pick up on number 3 and pinch 5 and 1 with your pinky on the number 1 string, number 3 fret, and then number 4 bass note and your number 1 string with your pinky on the 2nd fret. Okay. Number 6 with your pinky on the number 1 string, 3rd fret. So it's going to be like this from start to finish. I'll do it real slow. That's what we're going to learn, okay? And finish it off on that number 4 bass note. Now you're going to say, well, I can't do that because every time I go to do it, my whole hand shifts down. It does, but it's okay if it does. If this ring finger right here, if it slides down into that number 2 fret, and mine does, don't worry about it because you're not hitting that bass note at that time. You're hitting the number 4 bass note, which is your middle finger, right? On that number 4 string, 2nd fret. And even though you're sliding down and everything slides, you don't slide out of the box. Okay? You just... Now watch this hand very, very closely. Now it's a mind game. All right, it is a mind game because your mind's just really messing with you while you're doing this. You go, I can't slide down. I'll hit the wrong note. Should be here, but you're not striking that bass note at the same time. Whenever you have that pinky finger down on that number 2 fret, the bass note you're going to be hitting is going to be number 4 bass note every single time. Watch. Just like that. Now when I was making this song, you think, well, if you're going to sit around and noodle stuff, why don't you noodle some easier stuff? Well, the problem is, or what happens is I'll start with something and then I'll get the future of that stuck in my head where I want to go. And that's where I wanted to go with this, and it stuck in my head, and then I had to go, okay, well, how do I accomplish this? And as I'm working through that, okay, I'm thinking the timing on this is messing with my head, because I'm going to tell you, it took me 3 days to get to where I could do. Now, that was pretty easy. This was when it got difficult. That's a little bit tricky, because by the time you know when you're going to slide down, you forget which bass note you're on. But if you'll slow this thing way, way down and do it for 2, 3, 4 days, just you'll get it. At first, I messed it up every single time, and I did that solidly for a day. I messed it up, and then finally, I got on track with it. And you can come back and watch this, and just stop it. Okay, just do one bar and stop, or one whatever you call it, and stop. Like, stop the video, okay, and get that. You're either on or between a bass note. And most of the time, I was on a bass note. Only once in there, coming out of this number 2 fret down here on this number 1 string, that I offset the bass note. And maybe that's a good way to put it, offsetting a bass note. So here's on the bass note. This is offsetting. On, offset. Just like that. And sometimes I get my hand way up here on this and mute it, but you really should have that hand right back here on this bridge. Right there on those bridge pins, just covering over those top 3 strings, your 6, 5, and 4. Yeah. This is about where you're like that, and then 1, 2, and 3 strings are not muted. You're going to end on that number 4 bass note. Just like that. It's important to get these notes articulated, okay? And you hear I don't exactly have them all articulated, but every now and then I'll hit a good run, they'll all get articulated. Pretty well articulated there. Keeping up with those bass notes while you're wiggling this little finger back and forth from the 2nd and 3rd fret. It's like watching Saturday morning cartoons with that Roadrunner, you know what I mean? And that coyote. You know the outcome every time. The Roadrunner's going to outsmart that guy, right? He's going to get hit with an anvil. And when you start out with stuff like this, it's gonna be you're the coyote. Okay, you're that coyote. And if you break concentration at all, you'll lose your way. So sit down, be patient, make a C chord, put your little finger down there and go. You can do that. Now you are moving that ring finger down, but you're just putting it in the same fret as the middle finger, because when you move that little finger, your ring finger wants to go with it. It's hard to get that little, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's hard to get that little finger to go backwards while your ring finger is forward. So just bring your ring finger with it. You're not hitting that 5th fret anyway when you're down there. So you can't hear that horrible bass note that should be this bass note, because you're not striking it. You're striking number 4, and number 4 is still in the 2nd fret, even though that ring finger moved with that little finger. So stick with it. Stick with it. Keep going. Stick with it. Keep going. Once you get to where you can do these things, then you at that point realize, yeah, there's really not much you can't do once you get that going with the fingerstyle. You can use this method and style on electric guitars playing. I think playing guitar is a lot of fun, very enjoyable, and the more you stick with it, the better you're going to get. There is no question about it. Your fingers will eventually cooperate. You'll swear up and down they won't, but I promise you they will. I'm not anybody special, trust me. I am the furthest thing from anybody special. Aww. And you heard me do that. That means you can do it, okay? If you've got the fingers on this hand, do it, and some people don't. But if you do, count your blessings and hang in there. Stick with it, okay? Glad you joined the channel tonight. For those of you that are learning fingerstyle, and I hope this little exercise kind of helps you. And then we'll think of what to do next, okay? All right. Take care of your friends. Take care of your family. God bless. We'll see you next time.